Hi, welcome to Winter Session Intermediate Algebra. I am Professor Fort. We have about 3.5 weeks together to make a whirlwind tour of everything in intermediate algebra. We'll start with graphing lines and we'll actually end the semester with graphing circles. So I wanted to set up this introductory video to let you see my face, to know that there actually is somebody on the other end of the computer and at the end of the discussions and all that. I'm going to also take you through a tour of everything that's on Canvas so you get some familiarity with how the course is set up, how things run, where to find everything. So hopefully this is informative. It gives you a little bit of a feeling of the course. We're going to spend a lot of time on the computer together over the next 3.5 weeks. But the goal at the end of this is you'll have finished intermediate algebra by the middle of January, and you'll be able to move on to whatever course you need to take after that. If it's stats, if it's pre-calc, if it's one of the Math for Educators course, and it'll let you sign up for that in time for the spring. So I'm going to bring up Canvas, and we'll take a look at how all of this works inside of our course. Alright, so I brought up Canvas over here, and I guess the first thing to sort of mention is what semester we're in. As funny as it sounds, after fall of 2022 comes winter of 2023. So I know we're starting the course in December of 22, but it's actually winter session 2023 if you ever needed to reference it on a transcript. There's a couple of little icons that show up on the bottom here. One of them is for announcements. So when I post an announcement on the main screen here, you'll see a little 1 or 2 or however many announcements there are. And then the one next to it is for assignments that are listed. So when you open up the course, you'll see, and your screen will look a little bit different than mine because I have publishing abilities and things like that. You'll see a bar on the left side over here that goes for everything Canvas related. The one next to it is the menu bar for our course specifically, and then each of these things here are called modules. So you can open and close the modules based on what it is you want to see. What I did is I set them up by day, and I'll explain that in a minute. The first one up on the top is course information. So that has everything that you would want to reference throughout the semester for the course. One of them is the introduction video. Now, this is the introduction video from last semester, but when I get done recording this one, I'll link it to the one that I'm recording right now. The one that says course information underneath it has most of the same things that are going to be in this video except in text form. So if you'd rather reference things in text form, then here is everything that's set up in text form. Right, if I want to go back, I hit the home button and it brings me back there. Right, the next thing you might notice is the syllabus. The syllabus has all the important information for the course, including the textbook that you need, how the course is graded, and all that. Sometimes this spins a little bit. If it ever spins a little bit, you can always hit the button over here and it'll bring up the syllabus in an actual PDF, and then you can use it that way. So the information is up at the top. This is an online course. It doesn't meet at a specific time, so it's asynchronous. The best way to contact me is to use the Canvas email tool. So if you go back to Canvas, the main part on the side over here, if you click on inbox, which I cannot do, otherwise it's going to bring up other students' emails. You click on that inbox, and then there's a little pen on top. That's how you get an email. So especially over winter session, because I'm not on campus all the time checking my on-campus email, it's much better to send it through Canvas, and then I'll be able to respond more quickly. Usually allow 24 hours during a weekday for a response, although there are times when I'm on Canvas a lot more often, and sometimes you'll happen to send me a message while I'm on Canvas, and boom, a response right away. All right, there's no in-person meetings on campus. 2 of the tests and the final exam you're going to take on campus in the testing center. The rest of the work will be done online. All right, when you purchase the textbook, there's usually a couple of different options. One of them is an 18-week access code, I should say, 18 weeks. The other one is a 24-month access code. So if you plan to take this course once, and I hope that's all you need to do, get the 18-week access code, don't pay for the 24-month one. One of the things about this My Math Lab course is that it will be linked with Canvas. So there's no My Math Lab course ID code. When you go to register, and I'll show you how to do that, you're going to link up the My Math Lab course with Canvas, and that's how you'll do the homework. That's how the grades will get transferred. And that also means then you don't need a paper copy of this book. Everything, the textbook, the homework, can all be accessed through the My Math Lab product, which is from Pearson. The material that's covered covers a wide range of items, all the way from graphing equations, systems, polynomials. We'll do a lot of factoring, rational expressions, those are fractions, intro to functions, radical expressions, square roots, cube roots, those types of things. Quadratics, those are things that are squared, x squared, and parabolas that are graphs of the quadratics. And then we'll wrap up with conic sections, which is circles. That's really the only thing we do. So Before you took this course, either you took elementary algebra of some form or you took a placement test and they said take intermediate algebra. The idea is that when you get done with this course, you're going to move on to something like pre-calc or statistics or math for educators. For most students, this is not the last math course you take. So student learning objectives, you can read through those. Course management, this course covers 15 weeks of material in 3.5 weeks, so it's pretty intense. You're going to be spending a few hours every day working on my math lab assignments. I have videos that I've recorded for every section. You'll hear my voice. You won't see my face, but that's okay. You'll be able to concentrate on the math that's there. And they go with the PowerPoints that I would use for my in-person classes, so you can follow along that way too. So you're going to be spending some time every day going through those notes, working on the online assignments. There'll be discussion posts and so forth. So you should be dedicating a few hours every day to working through this. There is a withdrawal date if you decide you don't want to take the course after being in there a week or two. The last date to withdraw is Friday, January 6th, so this course moves fast. Grading, there's going to be 3 tests. One you'll take at home, the other 2 you'll take on campus. That altogether is 50% of your semester average. There's the My Math Lab, that's the homework. There's discussion posts, and then the final exam is worth 30% of your grade. In a course like this, there's only 4-letter grade options, A, B, C, and then the none of the above for grades that are less than 70. So to pass this course, you need at least a 50 on the final and an overall grade of at least 70%. So the discussions are going to be little homework problems. So they take the place of doing problems in class or volunteering or answer questions. It's a way to get you to interact with other people in the class. So in class, I might put a problem up and other people would offer suggestions on how to solve it. We're going to do something similar in the discussion. So there's 2 rounds of dates that are posted on the syllabus. One is the initial date, and then once you post, then you'll be able to see everybody else's responses, and you can respond to each other's posts and say, I like the way you did the solution, or I disagree with how you did it. Maybe you forgot to add something to both sides, and then you'll have a chance to go back and edit your responses by reposting as a reply to your own post so that you can get full credit for it at the end. Right? Final exam is scheduled for January 13th. That's in the testing center. Simple or scientific calculators are all you need. You can't use a graphing calculator on the test, but you can certainly bring a scientific calculator into the test. There's a syllabus supplement that's posted on Canvas, and you can see it when you go back to that course information module. The syllabus supplement just has all kinds of information about ways to get help, withdrawal policies, violations of academic integrity. The delayed opening policy is really only going to impact testing centers dates, and if there's a snowstorm or delayed opening, I will post announcements, with more information. Policy on makeup work, the dates for the My Math Lab assignments are pretty firm. They're due at 11:59 that day. If there's something really serious that causes you not to be able to take that assignment by that time, then I would need some sort of information about it, right? If there's a severe illness, a COVID diagnosis, something like that. Otherwise, this course moves so fast that you really can't be making up homework while you're also moving ahead, or you're just never going to catch up. So please adhere to those homework deadlines. Like I mentioned before, there's 2 tests in the final that are taken in the testing center on campus. Each test has a 1-day window for you to take the exam. You can schedule an appointment at the testing center. Again, if you miss a test, there's got to be some sort of legitimate absence that goes with that. So here is the schedule, right? I've got the topics, I've got the due date. So on the first day of class, you're going to go through this course introduction, right? This video that you're watching. You're going to try to get a feel of what the course is like. You're going to link up My Math Lab with Canvas. And then there's a set of review topics. So 3 times during the course, there's going to be sets of review topics. One of them is here, 3.1 to 3.4. Another one is 5.1 to 5.3. That's the review of polynomials and exponents. And then there's a review section in Chapter 7. So for those, because it's a winter session, I might suggest trying the homework first. And then if you find yourself running into trouble, then go back to the videos that I recorded for this section. For everything else, I would suggest watching video first and then trying assignments. As you work through the online assignments, you might keep a notebook, organize it by section. Here's my homework from 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, so that when you go back to study for a test or you go to look for information in the final exam, you can find the homework you did. Otherwise, it just becomes a giant pile of papers without any organization. So the first thing you're going to do tonight is you're going to put the introduction discussion. That's just an introduction of who you are, why you're taking the class, what program you're in, things like that, so that you get a little bit of a background of everybody in the course. Then after that, you'll see that we have a set of topics for the day that are covered. Each one of these matches up with one of my videos. You're going to complete my math lab assignments, and so the first round of assignments are due on Thursday night, 11:59. All right. Notice I have first post for chapter 3 and then final post. I'm trying to break it up by days. So if you get the first post in by Thursday, that gives you and your classmates some time to respond to each other, and then it will actually close at 11:59 on Friday night. Okay, I put a little division there because this is the end of the week. Also, you notice I didn't put anything on there for Christmas, so Christmas Eve, Christmas Day are left blank on there. All right, then we move into chapter 5. The first test you're going to take online, and I'll run you through that in a minute too. Then we move into chapter 6 and 7. The first test on campus is on Tuesday, January 3rd. Testing center over the winter break is open until 6 o'clock, so allow 2 hours for the exam, so don't schedule it any later than 4 o'clock, or you're not going to get the full 2 hours for the test. All right. We keep moving. Some of these things I put as due dates on Sunday just so that you can spend time on the weekend catching up on things. The third test is taken on Monday, January 9th, and then the final exam is in the testing center on the 13th. So these 2 pages sort of give you a guideline as to what's due. Like that third column has everything that's due. You might want to print that out, and it might feel good to sort of mark things off as you go through that you've accomplished things. All right, so that course information is up there. It's got other things like if you need help logging onto my math lab for the first time. There's a list of problems if you're looking for additional problem suggestions. Probably not, and of course it moves as fast, but if you need some extra help on something, it's there for you. If you're having trouble with my math lab in Canvas, certain browsers do funny things. Try that troubleshooting first. I posted some discussion guidelines. You could take a look at those, and if you're a little shaky as to what I mean by posting discussions and how to respond to them, those are some discussion guidelines. And then information about the tutoring center. This was given to me in the fall. If I get updates for the winter, I'll post that there as well. So this course information module has an introduction to the course, but it also has stuff that you're going to want to refer to as the semester goes on. All right. And then what I did is I set up each of these days as lists of different things in here. So I will sometimes post introductions and discussions. Obviously, the first day I have a lot to say as to how you're going to do all these things. As the semester rolls on, I am not going to post that much introductory stuff every day. So notice that there's the introduction. We're going to be doing graphing at the beginning, so I posted some graphing grids. There's your introduction discussion. This is the first week's PowerPoint, so everything in Chapter 3, that's the PowerPoint that goes with my videos. So the review videos I posted separately, right? If you click on those, these are the 2 review videos from Section 3134. Right? If I go back to the home, these things link directly to the video. So this links to the 3.5 video. Some of them I split into 2 parts because they were getting kind of long. And then you'll see sometimes I got pretty excited and I just kept going. The nice thing about taking this course online is if the guy making the video goes on, you can always hit the pause button and come back to it in a little bit. Right? It's not like an in-person class where if you leave the room for 10 minutes, you miss 10 minutes of the lecture. Now, each of these homeworks links up to something on my math lab. You'll notice that there's a lot of them, but look at the points. The first set of homework has only 4 questions. The next one has 6 questions. Some of them here are a little bit shorter. Some of them are a little bit longer, right? It may have 11 questions, but they may be pretty short questions. All right, so if I go to the first section, right, I click on the homework from section 3.1, it brings up the homework right here for me. So I can see that I've got unlimited attempts. Now, obviously, if you're trying problems 5 and 10 times, then come in for some help, ask questions, send an email. But yes, you can retry problems. The problems are all listed here, right? Question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4. Some of them open up very nicely in a window like this, and you open it up, and it brings the problem up, and then you can answer the question as it goes through. The other option is this. If you come up with one of these problems, and sometimes you'll see like there's a window, and then there's a window and a window, and it's getting hard to read, especially on a small screen. Once you link the 2 courses, you can always go in through my math lab directly. So what I mean is if you click on My Lab and Mastering, the first time it's going to ask you, it's going to say, there's nothing linked. Would you like to link? So you click through. If you have a Pearson login, you log in with your Pearson account. And one of the options will be to purchase a 14-day free trial, and you can click on that. Or if you purchase the access code either directly through My Math Lab, which you can do when you click there, or through the bookstore, then you can enter in that access code and it'll be good for the semester. So if you open My Lab and Mastering, once it's linked, then you'll see the My Math Lab side of things. And you can always go into assignments and pull up that assignment list. Right now, this is the only one that's open for me for demonstration purposes, but once the beginning of the course comes, you'll see them all listed, and then you can open up the assignments and do them there directly. So if the questions were getting small by having like windows inside of windows, you can always go into My Math Lab directly. The other thing too is there's an e-text down here. So if you open up the e-text, it makes you click through a couple of times, and then it opens up a copy of the book, right? That's what the paper book would look like. If you know the page number, you can actually come down the bottom and type it in, or there's your table of contents. Run down whatever section you're looking for. So if you're looking for section 3.1, right, there's section 3.1. You click on it, and there is the stuff from the book. So if there's something that you don't understand, or there was something in a video that didn't provide enough information, you can always go through the textbook. If you're looking for practice problems, there's practice problems in the textbook as well. But the ones that actually count towards your grade are the My Math Lab problems that are done online. And so there's a couple of other things. A multimedia library that has Pearson's videos for the sections. If you want to watch their videos, that's fine too. But that's really what you need in here, the e-text and then the assignments. Hi, so coming back to Canvas. So you'll notice that there's homework assignments in here. And then if you open up the next day, you'll see my little intro, the discussion guidelines, videos, homework discussions, etc. I tend to put the homework in the section that it was assigned rather than the day that it was due. So on December 21st, I've included homework problems that are not due until December 22nd. I'm going to strongly suggest that you work a little bit ahead because, days get crazy. Somebody calls you at 6 o'clock at night. Hey, you want to go hang out? And you're like, no, I got 5 hours of homework left and it's already 6 o'clock. I don't have any time to give. At least it gives you that option if you're a little bit ahead and you don't have to worry about it. So each of these days then opens up. You'll notice when we get to the 27th, there's nothing new because that's the day you're going to catch up and then review for the first test. The first test you're going to take online, and this is important. There's a PDF file here that says Test 1 Work and Graph Page. You're going to need to print this out before the first test. Now, there's no questions on it. Right? It's just a whole bunch of different places for you to organize your work. There's graphs, and they all go with the problems on the test. So if you have a printer at home and you want to print it out the day of the test, that's fine. But if you don't have access to a printer right away, you might want to find a way between now and December 28th to print that out. And that's why I'm giving it to you in advance so that you have enough time to print it out so that you'll be ready for a test. So I really do need the work organized on these pages. There's specific graphs and specific directions that go with that test. So when you get to the day of the test and you're ready to take it, right, the 28th, you'll open up the file here and there's an online test on Canvas. Now you notice that there's other stuff due that day too. So I'm assuming you're going to take the 27th and really work on the review stuff, take the test the morning of the 28th, and then there's additional work you're going to cover on the afternoon. So when you open up the test, there's some instructions there, and then once you hit the start button, because you'll have a start button, you'll start the test and the timer will count down, right? 120 minutes. You're going to work through the problems on the test. If there's places to put answers, you're going to put answers on the test on Canvas. And then in the last 10 minutes or so, you're going to scan in that page with all your work on it, and you're going to put it at the very end of the test. There's a question, upload your file, upload the file. Please use a Word or PDF document. And then I will see your work. And then also, I'll be able to grade your test. The multiple choice questions, I'm not going to grade the work for, so you can grab a couple extra sheets of paper. And there is information. Everything I'm saying is in that module for the 28th of December. It says Test 1 instructions. Open that up and read through the whole thing. You might want to do that a day or two before so that if you have questions, you can ask those questions. Okay. When you get to the second test, right, notice the module says Test number 2 on campus. The link says, click here to book your appointment in the RVCC Testing Center. So opening this will give you a list of appointments for the testing center. When you open them up, it'll give you a set of dates, right? And it'll give you times in like 10, 15-minute increments Actually, no, they're 5-minute increments, 9:40, 9:45, 9:50, and so forth. That doesn't mean the test is 5 minutes. They're just doing that to stagger the appointments. You notice it says on the top, walk-ins are also welcome. So if you didn't make an appointment, you can always go down there in person and just say, hey, I'm here to take a test, and they will give you the test. Testing center closes at 6 o'clock. That's why it says it's due at 6 p.m. So please make sure you give yourself enough time when you take that test. The same thing is going to happen for test 3 in the final exam, and you'll see those things on Canvas as well. Right? One of the things on the left-hand side here says Brightwave course material. If you purchase your textbook through the RVCC bookstore, that's how you're going to access it. So when you get your receipt from the bookstore, it will say something about accessing Brightwave. That's one of the options in the menu on the side. Right? These assignments and modules are just duplicates. You can access everything directly here, but hitting the home button and hitting the modules button will do the same thing. For grades, if you click on that, you'll see your grades. I'll update them probably every day with work that you've done, discussions, online homework, and eventually tests in the final exam. So you should be able to keep a running tally of how you're doing in the course. Clicking on people will just bring you the list of other people in the class. So if there's somebody that you know that you want to work with, that you think would be a good sort of accountability partner or encourager as you're working through this, then that's an option too. Click on them and you'll see everybody. For the syllabus has a listing, and here I'll put it in student view so you can see what it looks like on your end. It has a course summary of everything that's due. Now, some days there are chunks of things due, but it goes sequentially, right? So there's a lot of stuff due on Thursday, there's one thing due on Friday. There's more that's due on Monday and so forth. So you can track the assignments throughout the whole semester like that. And then there's another link up here to the syllabus as well. So I put a copy of it in where it says syllabus, because that's where you would expect to find the syllabus. And then it's also in that first page summary thing as well. Okay. So that's what that is. My Labs and Mastering links to my math lab. And then the announcements. I will post announcements every once in a while. If you set up your phone to do push notifications, then you can get those announcements set up directly. If you need some help in setting them up, click on where it says account and notifications, and that's how you get that information. Okay? If you have questions, you need help setting it up, let me know, send me an email, and I will help you to set that up. One other thing that might be helpful as you go through the semester is the Canvas calendar. Now, I'm assuming you're probably not taking more than 2 courses max of this winter session. But if you had other courses, now you see mine's still set up from the fall. Notice that there's nothing from this course that's listed there. So when I come over to the side here where it says calendars, my Math 03060V, which is just our section number for the winter, is not checked. So I check it. And all of a sudden, oh, look at that. That's where all my homework went. So you can do the same thing to see it day by day. And if you're taking any other course, then that would show up on this as well if you click on that little button. Once you get rid of that button, like I can see I got one of my courses from the fall still here. If I uncheck that box, then everything from that course goes away. And now I can see only the things for my course specifically. All right, I'll go back to the main course, and I think that's it. If you come up with any questions throughout the semester, please drop me an email. Let me know what's going on. And again, you can always come back to that course information syllabus. This is the course information written out in text form, and then there's course information in the video, and I will update that video just as soon as I sign off here. All right, best wishes for a great semester, and I will see you online December 21st.